let me just say, it was one disappointing game. Did you guys see that fucking dodge, though? Alrighty, guys. Hey, yo, what's up, guys? Aegis Rick here. I almost said Magnus Rick because I've been doing a few Magnus Rick videos. In fact, I've done a lot of those recently. Part of the reason why I haven't done any videos on this channel. But hey, yo, what is up, guys? Aegis Rick here. And we are back with some more Dark Blood Unlung. I always seem to come back to this game. And I really want to explain a few things recently. I haven't been uploading a lot of videos to this channel, and we will get to that in a bit. But I'll just say, guys, that this is going to be I'm going to stop uploading videos for like a good week or two on this channel. If you see updates on the Magnus Rick channel, just know that those are going to be pre-recorded. I've already done the videos for them, kind of do those in one long shot. So those are just scheduled uploads. But I'm not actually going to worry about YouTube for about 2 weeks, and the reason is really important test coming up for me. I'm actually I talked last time about what I'm doing for my major in college, and I'm a senior this year, but I had to take a test called an FE exam, which is basically like a engineering exam. Every engineer in the state has to take it, and basically if you want to try to get a job as an engineer, you have to pass this exam. It's how do you say, cumulative exam, so it's just going to cover everything we've learned in the 4 years of college that we've been here, and it's a really important one too at that. And my test date is actually on the 10th, so it's coming up. It's like in it's in 10 days basically. It's today's 1st, so I'm gonna be studying for that. I don't really want to worry about the videos and stuff because this is like a $200 exam, and I really don't want to try to retake it. It's not necessary for me to graduate, but just know that I don't want to, like I said, retake it multiple times. Really expensive test to be retaken. So I'm going to be studying for that and not really worrying about the videos. So that's my excuse for now. And like I said, Magnus Rick is still going to get videos. It's just know that they're a little bit ahead of this channel. Now, speaking of this channel, guys, one thing I want to admit, and I touched on this last time I did one of these Storytime videos, and usually these are not as common. These are like really rare unless I have a lot of stuff going on. So I do now though. And one thing I touched on in the last Storytime video was that I feel like maybe I'm stretching myself too thin on the Aegis Rick channel here. I'm playing so many different games, and people are asking me like, Rick, how do you play so many games? And it's just like, I don't. And that's the thing, is like, I have a lot of games downloaded, and I'm showing a lot of videos on the channel, but that doesn't mean I actually am playing them, and that's really the problem now. If you guys remember, like about a year ago when I did the C9 videos, it was different then. I used to do a lot of C9 content, like a lot, like PvP, PvE, and guide videos. I did all of them, usually on C9, and that's where most of you guys who are sub to me know me from. And since then, I have changed the format, obviously, because I'm not playing C9 anymore. I've done it completely differently, and I can't say I really enjoy what I've done, actually. It's like, instead of playing one game and rarely playing other games and maybe making a few videos here and there about the games, I'm kind of doing it the exact opposite, where instead I'm playing tons of games, and then I don't really have a main game, and then when it comes down to it, I'm just making a few videos here and then on every one, and that's kind of what's happening on the channel right now. It's like, it's just one guy playing tons of different games and not really sticking to one. So this will change, as I already mentioned, when DFO comes out. But it's really kind of, I can't say I really enjoyed this kind of format. I really can't say that. You know, MMOs are meant to be played for a long time, and just sticking to them for a little bit of time is just not working out. It's not a really fun way to play an MMO, honestly. You want to try to progress in the MMO, and I'm not doing that. In fact, I think PSO2 is a perfect example of that, where I just started playing it, and I've only gotten through the first couple. And then I have to, or I'm jumping to another game like Dragoness or something, and then I'm torn, man. I can't play a game from start to finish because that's not how those games are designed. So just know that hopefully when Dungeon Fighter comes back, we'll go back to the format of maybe sticking to one and then rarely making other videos on other stuff, because I think those are probably more enjoyable, honestly. They are for me, honestly, so I'll just have you guys know. That's what we're going to be planning on doing when DFO comes out. Until then, we're just going to take it easy, do what we have been doing, just play separate games. Like I said, we'll be looking at PSO2 further. I really only have done those like very few stages at the very beginning, so haven't really even gotten to look at that game very much. And Black Desert as well, you know. I've gotten, I think I want to say about to level 40 now, so leveling has gotten way easier in that game, and I think it's because I understand the game a little bit more. But aside from that, just, you know, only half actually playing these games, you know, not actually devoting myself to them. So cannot wait to get to a game where I can do that again. And honestly, that's why I feel a little bit more devoted to the Magnus Rig channel lately, guys. If you guys haven't subbed to that, if you guys haven't seen the content I've been making on that, then make sure to check on that. And we are playing East Origin right now, and then Metal Slug 3 playthrough of that. Almost finished with that one, so you guys should check that one out. And we'll be picking another game as well on top of that. So those are games I can play from start to finish, and you know, after you're through with it, you're through. You pick another game, so that's more of an appropriate thing to try that on. Not MMOs though, like I was saying. So anyway, guys, I wanted to give that little intro because so I don't have to talk about it again, and my excuse for why I'm not going to be uploading for a few, so you guys know. And there you go. So that's all I really have to say on that. And hopefully I pass that exam, because it's going to be pretty serious getting comboed. But aside from that, guys, today was Super Bowl Sunday. I am recording this after I watched the Super Bowl. I should have done it before and after, honestly. Like maybe I did part of this video and then watch the Super Bowl and then come afterwards and see my reaction. But if you guys don't know my hat that I wear on all the streams, I'll probably show it on the screen right now. It is a Seattle Mariners hat, and it's actually, a lot of people don't know that, even Mariners fans. It's just because this is a kind of a classic hat. If you go to the the actual baseball field, you can actually see this hat sold alongside the traditional Mariners hat, because I want to say it was only used for like 2 years or something. So not well known, but it is a Seattle Mariners hat. I am a Seattle's fan, and actually go to school here in Washington. So thing is, Super Bowl Sunday, you know, the Seattle Seahawks actually the reigning or defending champs for the Super Bowl, and today was Super Bowl Sunday, and I did see the Super Bowl, and that was one disappointing game. And I don't want to spend too much time explaining, you know, football for a lot of people. I know a lot of people who are sub to me aren't even American, or they don't even know football. You guys say football is actually, you don't even accept that we call this sport football and everything soccer. Look, we're not going to get into that argument, but let me just say it was one disappointing game. Did you guys see that fucking dodge, though? I jumped the Hadouken. I jumped it. That was so fucking sick. Anyway, so needless to say, guys, the Seahawks lost, and I've kind of cooled down since then. I didn't start recording until like an hour afterwards, because let me tell you, I was fucking pissed. And the real reason is, it was a great game, don't get me wrong. And New England was pretty much winning the whole game, and then we pulled ahead, then they pulled ahead, and at the very last second, guys, we are literally at the 1 yard line. We are like half a yard to the goal. It is only 20 seconds on the clock, you know. We own the football. We're going to end the game with whatever we decide to do. I want to say it was third down, I think. My memory's failing me. I want to forget this entire day, but I want to say it was like third down, right? And our running back, and quarterback for that matter, our running back, though, cannot be stopped. Every time he gets the football, he runs at least. He has not failed to run at least 2 yards every carry. It was an obvious choice to give it to Beast Mode. They call him Beast Mode for a reason, because he's a fucking running back who cannot be stopped. He's a damn beast when he gets the football. And they've been using him the entire game, right? They've been abusing that fact the entire game. And what do they decide to do on third down, 20 seconds on the clock? You know, the safest, smartest move anybody would make. What does the coach or whoever the fuck is coordinating these offensive plays, what do they tell him to do? They say, pass it, throw it into the, not only throw it into the middle of everything. Don't pass it into the middle of the field. Who, if you guys don't know football, that is where all the people are. And you're going to throw it where fucking everyone is for half a fucking yard. You're going to do a little dump shovel pass into fucking everybody when you have a running back who's on fire, who cannot be stopped, and you have 2 downs to try it if you fail the first time. I mean, it just makes no sense. This call was so fucking stupid. And this will go down in history as the worst call in all of football, because I'm not kidding. Considering we make that touchdown, right? You give it to Marshawn Lynch and you make the touchdown, you were going to win the game because there's only 20 seconds left. What are they going to do? Yeah, no, they try this play. They fuck it up. And interception. Interception. The other team gets the ball and we don't have a chance of... They're ahead. It's 28-24. So we don't get the touchdown and they keep the ball and we lose the game because of that. And it is just the sickest, most... It is a disgusting way to lose. It's like if, you know, you're in a tournament, a PvP tournament on fucking some competitive game, and you lose because of lag or something. It's like serious lag, but you lose anyway because of it. And it's just like, what? You can't be serious. It was just so disappointing. You know, I would have been totally fine if we lost because, you know, they tried to run it in there and fucked it up twice. But no, we lost like that. And it really wasn't the case. I think my father put it best. It wasn't the case that New England won. It was more of a case that the Seahawks lost, because they really did. They lost it for themselves, and it was just really sickening and sad to watch, honestly. Now, they were lucky the entire game. I'll have you know. In fact, they were lucky the entire playoffs. They should have lost against Green Bay and won in the last like 5 minutes. That was such an amazing game, an amazing comeback, honestly. Just imagine you're getting your ass kicked and then you win in the last like fucking 5 minutes, 4 minutes or something. The luckiest shit ever to get to the Super Bowl. And then when they get into the Super Bowl, they have the ring in their hand. They have the trophy in their hands, and they can't pull the trigger because somebody wants to decide to fuck it all up at the last 20 seconds. Literally, it was disappointing. And like I said, I've calmed down since now, but my neighbors fucking know. I was pissed. I was cussing up a storm, man. I cannot believe how stupid it was. I'm not kidding. You're gonna see this if you're just, you know, going by or just, you know, only heard about the game. You're gonna hear about this call because trust me, everything in the game doesn't matter aside from that play. And the reason they lost is that one fucking call. It's as easy as that. So, that's all I really got to say about that. Honestly, I'm not too big of a fan of football. I usually always watch it only until the end of the season when things get serious. I'm more of a... I'll watch the regular season baseball games more often than the football games, but, you know. So I'm not... you know, I wasn't watching them the entire season, but I was definitely watching them at the end of the season, and I gotta say, their offense fucking sucks. Hopefully they do something next year to kind of pick that up, but... Their defense is the best in the league, but their offense is just terrible, especially their QB. I know a lot of people love Wilson, but even during this game, it was severely evident that they were lucky as shit to even make it that close of a game, considering that most of their passes were 30-yard bombs down the field that were just like Hail Mary. And I'd say they succeeded in most of them. It was kind of surprising at how often that worked. But it just isn't a good indication of a good offensive team. More like a lucky offensive team. So hopefully next year okay, it's been 2 years now and they've had shitty offense. So. But you have arguably the best running back. You know, you have a shitty offense, but arguably the best running back in the whole league, and you don't use him for the last play. You don't use him when you're like half a yard from the touchdown. You don't give him the goddamn football. It is just sickening. How many times have I gone back and said that? Anyway, we're done talking about football, guys. So if you guys don't know about football or don't care about football, that happened. Just make sure that I wanted to make sure you guys knew that, because I'm disappointed as a Seahawks fan myself. So anyway, guys, moving back to other kinds of content we can talk about. And I do want to keep this short because, like I said, I have 10 days to study and I haven't really done that much. I guess you can say that's mostly my fault, but, you know, it's not really fair. I have that test to take in 10 days, right? But I'm one of the first of all of my peers who have to take it. And it's kind of weird. This is a test that has to be done throughout the entire state. And so it's not just particular to my school. In fact, everybody in the state has to take it. So what has to happen is you have to register for these tests separately from everybody else. So it turns out that, you know, lot of my friends aren't going to be taking it till like next month. But, you know, I had to schedule one that was really early because there weren't a lot of spots left. I'm going to be going to this test with like none of my friends or anything. So it's just like whoever is in school right now will be taking the test separately. So, and I'm one of the first ones, so I'm going to be the first fucking correspondent. Where are the enemies at? Oh, it's this, look at little asshole here. Okay. Well, there you go. So yeah, honestly, they're gonna be taking it next month. I got a lot of time to study, and I don't, which kind of sucks. Cause I had to schedule it for now, for a week from now. So I will be studying, and then hopefully I'll pass the test. Just wish me luck, I guess. There's a fucking fatal guy. I don't want to fuck with this guy. Hit him with the real combo. Dodge it. Man, a mana. So, I suppose I could talk about, well, okay, one thing that you did ask me about and I never responded to was, I mentioned in like, what was it, Black Desert video, I talked about my graphics card and I was getting a new one, and I did, I totally got it. It's awesome. Now I mentioned that, and where's the last guy? Am I missing someone again? Invisible? This move is good because it can hit people that are invisible. Oh no, that's weird, it doesn't have an arrow in it. Anyway, the boss room. But as I was mentioning, I did pick up a new graphics card, it's awesome. But, and a big but, is that I was really excited for this graphics card, and I was like, man, this is gonna be great, I'm gonna get like really high, like good shit now. And I was just convinced that mine was just really old, you know, and that it couldn't even match up to anything anymore. And part of that is true, it's just not to the extent that I thought it was. My graphics card was pretty good still. Oh shit, double attack. And I did get a good graphical performance increase, but I thought I would be getting like good 60 frames a second, like 1080p. That's definitely not the case. In fact, I was playing, I think I can only play this game even, only at about 1080p, but only like 55 frames a second, so I'm still losing frame rate in this game. And definitely if I try to play the higher end games like Black Desert or something, I cannot definitely play them at the high resolutions at like 1080p. So I'm definitely getting boost in performance, just not nearly as much as I thought I would. So just telling you guys that. And that really does go to show how strong these graphic cards are. The higher end ones, and I think it's not a case that I like didn't get a good graphics card or anything. I had a really good one, but it's just I got the best one I could for the price of it. See, it's like $120. That's about as good as it gets for that amount of money. If I really wanted to get a high end one that I'm talking about, like 1080p, 60 frames a second, so I really do need to drop a lot on a higher end graphics card. And another disappointing thing is that I thought I would be getting a lot of increased rendering times by getting a new graphics card that can use GPU boost. Sadly, that was hardly utilized at all. I don't know if it's just a software thing or if my graphics card just doesn't correspond with it or something, but Sony Vegas just does not correspond or talk with my graphics card at all. I was actually looking at it, and I think the GPU boost on it only had like, it was only using like maybe 2% of my GPU for rendering. And I was like, what? I thought it was supposed to be like massively increasing the rendering time, so that basically didn't help anything at all. So really disappointed at that that didn't really work. And I'm not sure, I guess I gotta really, that what that means is that rendering is mostly a CPU based thing, not really a GPU as far as I'm seeing. So my CPU is still really old, so I didn't see really any increased rendering times by picking up a new GPU. But the best thing about this, guys, is that I'm able to play pretty much any game at 720p 60 frames a second, which is really good. So if you guys are looking on the channel, I'm going to stop uploading videos in 1080p resolution and be sticking again with my 720p, which is something I used to do. You know, I only did the 1080p thing for a little while, so I don't think it's really worth it for the 1080p. Two reasons for that, mostly for me, is the rendering times. Oh my god, the rendering times were so fucking long. I think that was the culprit of my really long render times, is that I was trying to do some 1080p shit, and it just takes way longer. If you compare to a similar video in 720p, it is just so much longer to render that, like twice as long. And you know, I guess you get a higher resolution, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think it's worth it to do that. So instead, I'm just going to be sticking to 720p, and then for sure, I should be able to play most of these games, with the exception of really high-end ones like Black Desert, at 720p, 60 frames a second. If not, if it's a really high-end game like I'm going to have with Black Desert, guys, we're just going to have 720p, but, you know, only 30 frames a second. Because I think the maximum I was getting with Black Desert, and I already tested this out, was like 45 or something, and that was on lowest settings. So I think we're going to be able to increase the graphical settings, but we're only going to get 30 frames guaranteed, if that. So we'll be able to, I guess we'll be able to upgrade at least from the very, very bare bones lowest settings that we had before. But not going to be 60 frames a second or anything. It'll still be 30, so not a big deal. In fact, I don't know how hype a lot of people don't really care about the 60 frames a second. I think it looks awesome for games that incorporate it, like this one. If you guys are watching this video, the entire video is going to be in 60 frames a second, so you can definitely see the difference, I think. And if you look at something in 30 frames and then look at it again in 60 frames, there is a serious, significant difference from the two different frame rates, honestly, because much more fluid animation, I guess. It's best noticed in comparison, though. I just have you know. So I think Dark Blood is an excellent game to show that off, and I honestly, because I have some older Dark Blood videos that were only in 30, and you definitely see it. So this graphics, like I said, can handle pretty much any game like this at this frame rate, no problem. So let's get this shit off the screen. Thank you. And so that's really what I'm excited for. At least if I can't get the 1080p, I can still get the 720p, no problem. And that's all I can ask for until I upgrade my computer, which is going to be another thing. In fact, that's another topic entirely, guys, which let's start about that now. I have started to inadvertently upgrade my computer. And it seriously was inadvertently. I did pick up a new graphics card. That was the only thing I wanted to pick up, right? And I was like, because I got some Christmas money and I can fucking spend it. Thing is, my brother had to send me a gift card, and this gift card was for a place called Fry's. It's like a computer place. Maybe some of you guys who live in the Midwest or something, you guys know of this place, but Fry's is like this big electronics store. And turns out, after going to them, it seems like all their parts are really expensive in comparison to places like Newegg or something. But he got me a gift card to this place, and I had to obviously purchase something from this place. The thing is, I already purchased the graphics card from Newegg, and I didn't really use the gift card from Fry's. And so I was like, well, shit, I gotta buy something like that's worth like $50 on Fry's. And so I looked for something, you know, everything's pretty expensive there. So I was like, man, what can I get? So ended up deciding on getting a SSD card, which is, if you guys don't know, that's solid state drive. And basically a best comparison to that is, think of a hard drive, which is a physical drive. It's like it's just a physical memory drive. There's literally a disk on there that's reading and writing stuff on it. Think of that, except twice as fast. And that's what a SSD is. It's a solid state, and it's like an electronical drive. I'm not really sure on the mechanics of that, but it is not really a mechanical drive anymore. So just think of it as a really, really fast hard drive. Thing is, the problem with that is they usually have lower capacities. So this one that I was able to pick up, and it was still $70, was 128 gigs hard drive. So it was really small. If you think about it, right now my laptop, which is like 4 years old, has a 1 terabyte hard drive in it, and this is only 128 gigs. I was like, what the fuck? But the real true benefit of that isn't really the capacity of it. Like I said, those are expensive as it is. But the real benefit is the speed. It runs super fast, and it has super fast read and write speeds, and that's what's important. Because when you compare them to something like a regular hard drive, like I said, they're like twice as fast almost, or even more in some cases. So it can read data and write data, and that's really what's most important about it, is because if you think about it, every time you play a game or something and you are at some kind of loading screen, That's what you're looking at. You're actually looking at the game reading something off the disk, and that's what a load time is that whatever time it takes to read all that information off the disk to get the game running, that's read time. So if you have something that has a really fast read and write time, or mostly read time, you can load up games really quickly. And I think I just died right there. Too busy talking about shit. I'm running out of lives, I think. Yeah, I don't have any more lives, so I can't die anymore. But as I was saying, if you can get a really fast disk drive that can read things quickly, then you can load things really fast, especially games. And that's really useful if you play a game that has really long loading times or has a lot of loading times, especially like MMOs like this one, and you're loading up a lot of maps. You can really speed up your gameplay a lot by having a really fast disk. So even though it's only 128 gigs, it still reads really quickly. So what you can do is just put things that you use a lot of the time, like for instance, I use Photoshop a lot. Opening up Photoshop and doing things on Photoshop is just faster. Same thing with Sony Vegas. In games, especially if you play a lot of games and you have a lot of loading times, like I said, you can increase that time. So that's why the SSDs are so desirable in gaming computers, and that's why I don't have an SSD. I've never had one, never owned one. That is a good idea to get one. And especially some people like putting their OS on it, their operating system, because if you do, you can pretty much boot up Windows in like 7 seconds. I'm not kidding you. Like, you know how usually when you turn on your computer, if you don't have an SSD already, you turn on the computer and it takes like fucking 2 years to turn on. Boot, load up everything. Just imagine, the second you press your computer and you let it go past the boot screen, it will take you 7 seconds to get to the login screen. That's how fast it is sometimes. And that's the benefit of the SSD, guys. It is really small and you can load things really quickly. Now I praise the SSD. It's a really awesome thing, and I really want to utilize it. I have it in here right now. I've done exactly everything I've said so far. I put my OS on it, which I have a long story about that as well. We'll get to that. Put a new OS on it, Windows 7. Put a few games on it, and it runs so fucking slow. It runs slow as shit. It runs slower than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. And you're probably wondering, what the fuck are you talking about? There's a reason for that, and it is a pitiful one. I am really kind of sad. The whole time I was thinking, I was like, man, this SSD is fucking broken. Not necessarily. What's happening is it's bottlenecking hard. It is basically, almost got hit by that. What's happening is I don't have proper hardware to read or utilize the SSD properly. My hardware for the motherboard is like fucking like I keep mentioning, like 6 years old. And so you need SATA 3 connection on the motherboard to actually read the SSD properly, which I don't have, obviously. So that's what's happening, is that it's not really, the transfer rate is not very quick. Usually what you connect with the SSD is the same that you connect with a hard drive. That's a SATA connection. I have SATA 3 connected, but my motherboard, it only goes up to SATA 2, which is only half as fast. So that bottlenecking is just causing the SSD to just shit itself. It doesn't know what to do, honestly. It's like, it's not fast enough. I can't go fast at all. I gotta go fast, Sonic. Yeah, not happening at all. So pretty much was an entire bust. When I got this SSD, I loaded up all this shit, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be fast. Yeah, it sucks. It is terrible. So I had to get off of that and go back to my hard drive. Problem with that. Okay, here's where the problems start, right? So I already mentioned that the SSD was just a bust, and it really isn't the SSD's fault. Okay, I keep mentioning the SSD sucks. It doesn't. It's really awesome, and I can imagine if I had the proper motherboard that I could get the maximum amount of speed that I could out of it. Thing is, I have an old motherboard. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, replace your motherboard. Motherboards are pretty cheap, and I'll be honest with you, they can be really cheap. You can get pretty much a better motherboard than I have right now, honestly, for less than $100. And, you know, they can have a whole bunch of bells and whistles to them, and you can pretty much get those for pretty cheap, like I said. Thing is, every motherboard, if you didn't know, comes with a socket type that it accepts. And you're probably wondering, what's a socket type? The socket type is important for CPUs. Your CPU is specially made. And so it has a certain amount of pins on the bottom of the CPU. These are, like I said, specially made, so the motherboards have to correspond with the CPU. So it's not the other way around. These CPUs are made specifically to, you know, compute. And then the motherboards are based off of those CPUs. So what ends up happening is, as you get higher level CPUs, as you get new brands of CPUs that have different configurations, you have to make new motherboards. So what ended up happening with mine is I actually have a really old CPU. I have a really old motherboard. The CPU no longer corresponds with any kind of socket that's made currently today. It got outdated. So if I wanted to get a new motherboard so that I can use my SSD properly, I have to get a new CPU. And the CPU, guys, the motherboard may be cheap, but the CPUs are not. Especially if you want to get a brand new one that is i7 or i5 or some shit. CPUs aren't cheap, I'll have you know. They're one of the most expensive parts of the PC sometimes. And you really, that's the one thing. Just think of it as the brain of your computer. That's the one thing you don't want to skimp out on, is the CPU, because mostly any kind of computing is not really going to be done with the GPU. I'd say maybe games, graphics and stuff will be, but computing, like actual problems, like what I do with video rendering and opening any kind of problems or programs, excuse me, doing any kind of processes like that will require CPU power and not GPU power. So I guess that's kind of what I'm seeing with Sony Vegas, is that, you know, my CPU can only go so fast, and that's it. So if I want to get a new motherboard, I have to get a new CPU, and then, guys, that's where the money just starts racking up that I don't have, you know? It's like, I can't afford to upgrade these kinds of things and keep getting new parts because, you know, they all mesh together. If I get an SSD, I need new motherboard, etc. You guys understand, so... all that being said, I did have to make some upgrades along the way, and the only reason is because my hardware keeps fucking failing. So, okay, I picked up SSD because I had that gift card, right? My brother gave it to me. I was like, fuck it, just get one. Little did I know it wasn't going to be compatible, so it doesn't really work that well. What I didn't know was that when I got back to school, and these things came in at roughly the same time, my hard drive died. My boot drive died. I'm not kidding you. And this kind of harkens back to the first, what was it, Storytime video I had, was Martin fucking destroyed my computer. I still blame him for that, by the way. And just reminding you of what happened. Martin destroyed my computer because he told me to fucking do something. Yeah, I blame him for that. Now it was totally my fault. I don't know, I turned on the computer, the boot drive was blue screening. And basically my boot drive was like mad corrupted. So, and the problem with that is, if your boot drive doesn't boot up, you really don't have anything else to start the computer. You don't have a OS working anymore. And what ended up happening was, that's exactly what happened, was that my boot drive was totally dead and I didn't have anything to, like, to start the computer. And I was like, well, what do? I just have like a dead computer now. So I had to go through hell and back on my laptop again while my desktop is dead with all these like new computer parts, and I can't use it because I can't boot up anything. And long story short, and I go through a lot of hell, I have to get a new copy of Windows 7 because imagine, my boot drive is dead, I can't access anything. Turns out the hard drive was dead, so I had to toss that. Had to purchase a new hard drive. This time I picked up a 2 terabyte. I think before I only had like a 500 gig hard drive. Picked up a 2 terabyte disk drive, hard drive, like a regular hard drive, to replace it, and I had to get a new copy of Windows 7 too. And it was a shame because, you know, I had a copy of Windows 7. It was just corrupted and I couldn't get any data off of it. I couldn't extract like what the activation code was, whatever it was. I was like, I'm stuck here with everything on this disk and it's like gone automatically. So if I can tell you guys one tip right now is make sure to back up your stuff. Especially make sure to back up your like activation codes for shit that you've already paid for, like Windows 7. You know, I had a full copy of Windows 7, but you know, because I lost the information, I don't have it anymore. And this is usually stuff that's on the computer case. Yeah. I can't read it anymore. So it's long gone, guys. So I had to get a new copy of Windows 7. That was probably the most frustrating thing about this whole ordeal. I don't really mind losing stuff out of the hard drive, but you know, I don't want to die actually. So let's heal. But losing that kind of stuff that you already pay for is really disappointing. And I did lose a few stuff relating to the YouTube content. I did mention, I think I mentioned in the Dragoness video, I lost a few things related to, oh shit, that was on accident. Related to my videos in Sony Vegas. I make a lot of templates for that to make my life easier. I lost most all of those. But what I didn't lose, because I had it backed up on external drive, was my thumbnails. So that's actually really a blessing, because I had a lot of stuff I've done on thumbnails. And so those aren't lost, but I had to remake some things on Sony Vegas. So if anything looks a little different than it used to, just know the reason why. It's because my hard drive died. And I've had to remake a lot of stuff, but that's been going smoothly, guys. I just got through, like, pretty much downloading all these games again. In fact, got some new games, downloaded some games off of Steam again, and that's what I've been playing now, guys. So I've actually been having a lot of fun playing a bunch of Steam games because, well, I've been waiting for things to download again. Like Black Desert, which I'll have you guys know, Black Desert is the fucking bitchest to update. It is one bitch of an update because you have to use proxy and all this stuff. This is why I'm reluctant to tell you guys how to do it. You guys keep asking, how do I play this game? It's not easy. It's not an easy kind of thing. It's kind of easy to, well, it's not even easy to get an account. Getting an account is difficult. Make sure to download it and update it, especially, is really freaking hard. So, the update servers are just shit, man, because they have a download rate of like 0.3 megabytes. It takes like 18 hours to update. If you just get the core version. Anyway, what I'm saying here is, you know, I've been having more fun playing these games that I got off Steam because they have a easy download time for me. I just get them and play them while everything else is getting ready and downloading. Like PSO2 had to re-download again, and that's much easier. But you know, just been able to download games really quickly, play them, and then, you know, like I said at the start of this video, I've been enjoying actually finishing these games instead of just, you know, making a few videos. I can make all the videos and then, you know, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's really satisfying, actually. So, like I mentioned, guys, played East Origin, Metal Slug 3, and I'll have a secret game. I think I'll reveal that when the time comes. I have to heal again. I don't know where to go here, actually. But yeah. So that's going to be happening, guys. And I'm sorry to put it in this video, but, you know, 2 weeks is a long time. I'm going to be out of commission. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video here and there. But I really gotta force myself to study on this exam. Because, like I said, I think it's 300 something to do the test. So that's the one test I don't want to fail. I'm okay with failing everything else. Just don't fail that fucking exam I need to pass. But graduation is coming soon, guys, and real engineering work is coming soon for me. Just imagine, guys, it was only 4 years ago, and I actually was doing videos back then when I was a freshman here in college. I'm about to graduate senior year in not even a few months, honestly. So really kind of exciting. The time I've spent here in school, it does feel like not too long ago where I was in my dorm room doing Dragoness videos and shit, and playing DFO and C9, especially when it came out. In fact, C9 came out when I was still in the dorms, I think. Yeah, it did. And before then I was playing Dragoness, so just the times, guys, they fly right by. But guys, this is gonna be my last dungeon for today. I'm gonna go cry and wallow about my defeat today at the hands of New England. Actually, we defeated ourselves, so I'm still gonna go with that. There's no way we should have lost that game, but we did. But like I said, guys, gonna be the last video for a little while, at least on this channel. You guys can check some content on the Magnus Rick channel if you guys are interested in seeing whatever that's going on down there. And like I said, there'll be content there for a little while to keep you going, and then will come back, and we'll be that much closer, guys. The March update for DFO is not that far away, actually, if you think about it. So, you know, by the time I get back to actually making content for the Aegis Trick channel, I'll maybe do a few more, and then it'll already be time for DFO to come out, and I am primed and ready, guys. I've already got, actually, I want to start writing some scripts on those, like, on things I want to explain about the game, because some people don't know about the game, or don't know about what's happening in the update videos. I'm actually kind of excited that my update videos have gotten so many views so far, is because I'm certain people are not aware of some of the things that I did. Some people are, but, you know, at least I can be useful in making these update videos for those of you guys who are not on top of that kind of stuff already. So I'm glad to hear that my content is useful, and trust me when I say it, I'm going to be really excited when DFO comes out into closed beta. It's going to be, like I've mentioned, closed beta will be available for everyone, so it's not really a closed beta if you think about it. Oh my god, I don't have any more lives, guys. I don't have any more lives. I don't think. Oh, I do, look, you can use that. There you go. Good. We don't have to end on that note of me getting destroyed, but it's gonna be exciting, guys. I'm really excited for DFO. I don't know how well it's gonna work for me after school is over and I have to, you know, actually work and all that, but who knows? We'll handle it. Maybe by then I'll have like a really beast computer and I can like show it off. But right now it's not all that interesting. It's a lot of broken parts and shit that doesn't work like my SSD for now. But trust me when I say it will be getting upgraded later. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you have, for this very sad Storytime video about me losing the Super Bowl. It was definitely my fault. Okay, that's why we lost. I didn't think about running the football at half the yard for the fucking touchdown. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.